Oh yeah, you already know what time it is. You know what's going on. I'm your host Cam Silver,
I am your co-host Kyle Silver.
and welcome back to another episode of the Silver Boys Podcast. Ooh yeah, oh yeah, almost there.
Orange skies, baby.
Um,
Orange and blue skies. It's blinding, but I love it.
we're almost there, almost to the NBA Finals, starting next Thursday actually. So that will be awesome. But yeah, the Western Conference Finals are wrapped up, excuse me. Eastern
Hmm.
Conference Finals are thankfully still going on as we still speak. So when this airs, we'll be airing right before Game 6. So more than happy to
Yep. Save our predictions for the end of the episode, yeah.
yeah. So more than happy for that. But yeah, let's get into it. So on the West, we'll go back and catch you guys up. So game three, Timberwolves came out aggressive. They came out firing, and they were able to force the Thunder to turn the ball over early and get a lot of stops, get a lot of buckets, and where they were able to win 143 to 101. Everyone on the Thunder scored less than 15 points. And for the Timberwolves, Randall scored 24 points. Anthony Edwards scored 30 points, 9 boards, 6 assists. Terrence Shannon Jr. comes off the bench with 15 points. I've always been a fan of his. Happy to see him starting to thrive. In game four, Thunder win it in a close one, 128 to 126. They then take a 3-1 lead. Down the stretch, the Thunder's three stars and Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet, they all came up and they all came up big. Whenever they needed a bucket, one of those three were able to get a bucket. And for me personally, that was like some of the best basketball I've seen the Thunder play overall. I feel like they finally played they played complete
Hmm.
where everybody came to play. And they were able to hold Randall to 5 points, who did not score a single point in the second half. Edwards only had 16 points. He only had 4 points in the first half alone. Uh, Jaden McDaniels did most of the heavy lifting with 22 points. DiVincenzo coming off the bench with 21. Gilgeous-Alexander Walker, another one coming off the bench with 23 points. So yeah, Thunder basically made the others do the dirty work. And then in game five, Thunder was just too much to handle, winning 124 to 94 to clinch the Western Conference Finals, with Shea getting final Western Conference Finals MVP, scoring 34 points, 8 assists, 7 boards, 2 of 4 from three. And yeah, they successful.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunder have been thriving all season long, all postseason long. Um, they're 80 and 18 up until this point, before they get to the NBA Finals and they start game one of the NBA Finals. But 80 and 18, that is that record alone speaks volumes, I think, just in terms of just being a winner.
Right.
Bunch of young cats, Chet Holmgren, SGA, Jalen Williams, like, these guys are they're not even above what, 26, 27,
Yeah.
if that. And so, for them to, you know, show their toughness, show that they're just a bunch of dogs who they don't care if you've been here before or haven't been here before. They're taking it in strides and they're just playing how they know how to play basketball. And that's a dangerous team. In my humble opinion, that's a real dangerous team. Shout out Jalen Williams. He's really, really been doing his thing. I know we had some questions, regarding him in the last series, in the Denver and the conference semis. But I just in terms of a team effort all around, especially against a tough Minnesota squad who came out, hitting in game three, 143 to 101. Like, I feel like there was a lot to learn there, but it was all for nothing essentially because, you know, the Thunder just know they've it's not even I can't even say that they've been here before. It's just like they seem like they've been here before. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
They play with such confidence. They play with such poise, tenacity. They're everywhere on the defensive end. And SGA is just gonna get his. he's a master in just as a point guard right now. He's a master. He's just a master. And seeing him flourish, from his early, LA Clipper days to now is it's a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah, yeah. Easily one of my favorite players to watch right now. Just love this team overall. I love the defensive approach that they take. We're in the offensive, you know, we're in the offensive era because of, the way the league has shifted so much, but they find that like almost like I want to say like loophole slash gap where like we said, most teams, take the offense approach, but they come in with, if we get our defense set and we get our defense going, then that will translate into open runouts. That will translate to our offense. That will translate to like everybody's like energy getting up, and that's what they do. Um, yeah, it's very hard to see, you know, either whether it's the Knicks or the Pacers, it's very hard to see either one of them taking them off because of just how good they are, especially at home too. They're amazing at home. It seems like it doesn't matter what you do. When you're facing the Thunder at their place, it's like the crowd, the energy of the crowd. It almost reminds me of like a college type of atmosphere. They all got, like the little clackers or whatever you want to call them. I forgot. Yeah, like the clapper. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you're hearing that. Everyone has on the shirts and everything, and it's all
That's the best part is
yes.
when the entire stadium has on the same color shirt,
Hmm.
and that's the best part.
And the best part is not even like the same color shirt, but it's like you have, your sections in blue, and then the other sections are in like white. That
Hmm.
like that right there, that type of stuff is like intimidating. And
No, it really
everyone's
is.
in
When you walk into that, it's like,
yeah.
oh gosh.
And everyone's in unison. Indiana does the same thing, but everybody's in unison with what's going on and how they're and what they're cheering and what they're chanting. So it's a beautiful thing to see the Thunder get back to this to get back to the finals, since 2012 with KD, Russ and Harden. So yeah, they deserve it. They've come a long way. Yeah, Sam Presti has made all the right moves, pushed all the right buttons, got a great head coach over there that has these guys believing in not only themselves but each other.
It's just it's genuinely beautiful to watch because I remember from my own personal standpoint a couple years ago when this OKC team was being built, Lou Dort was on the team. SGA had just come in. They didn't have Chet yet. They didn't have Alex Caruso yet. I don't even think Jalen Williams was there yet.
Because
Or he
Jalen
was
and
still young.
yeah, Jalen and Chet are in the same. They were in the same draft class.
And so to see like how they were then compared to now and how they're all growing into just men, you know, men amongst boys essentially,
Hmm.
it is there's nothing quite like it. I just love to be able to watch it flourish, see it go from the ground up, see SGA just killing dudes in the mid range. It's like when you're a point guard and you could kill guys in the mid range, that adds a whole nother layer to the team's offense, how the defense has to cover you. They
Yep.
gotta put more onus, they gotta put more respect on you. That leaves your Lou Dort's open, your Jalen Williams open, your Alex Caruso's open, and then you got my guy, yeah, my guy. He's probably my top five favorite player right now, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah.
He's it's just that floater, lefty floater it's money every time. Every time it's money. Chet is growing into his own as well too. I love seeing that.
Hmm.
Seeing how him and Isaiah was handling Jokic, seeing how him and Isaiah were handling Rudy Gobert, which, we all know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But just it's a team effort is what I'm trying to say here. It's not it's as much as people want to make it seem like it's just SGA, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It's guys like Lou Dort. It's guys like Isaiah Hartenstein who is anchoring the middle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anchoring the middle, and then you got Chet who could just pop outside or come inside too.
Hmm.
It's a team game. And I'm gonna say one more thing in terms of how you were saying offensive wise. It's there's two different type of teams. There's the Boston Celtics, and then there's OKC, a team that's just heavy in relying on the three, live and die by the 3-point line, and
Yep.
then you have another team who's getting to their spots, getting it to their guys. You know what I'm saying? That's and can play passing lanes better than Boston probably ever has. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, but so shoot, statistic wise, they were the best and still are the best defensive team
Hmm.
that we've seen. So yeah, I would say they do more than just play the passing lanes great. They're able to they play the other team's star players great. Like
Hmm.
as great as Anthony Edwards is, what would you think if I told you, yeah, in a game four when they're down 2-1, Anthony Edwards is gonna have 4 points. And Julius Randle isn't even gonna score in the second half and he's only gonna end up with 5. You'd be like, no way. You're like, no way. Because they're just too good. But that's
I
what they
mean, we were gonna get two different types of Julius Randles. We got
yeah,
we
yeah.
got the type that I was expecting, essentially.
I mean, like in that, it's not like he played horrible the whole time. Like game one, he played great. Game two, he didn't do much. Game three, he played great. Game four, he didn't do much. And then game five, he played better. He had 24 points.
Game three, he had 24. I mean, like it's just the suffocating defense over there in OKC, man. That's
Yeah,
quite
yeah,
all you can say about it.
yeah, yeah. And he was dealing with, like in the first two series against the Lakers, he wasn't really dealing with any big men. Same thing with Rudy.
Hmm.
And then the same thing with Golden State. But then you're dealing with a fully healthy Oklahoma City squad where they have where it, it's the fact that everybody defends and no one's really a liability on the defense.
Nobody, you can't single nobody out like you can, like on the Knicks with Jalen Brunson. You know,
Yeah,
like
exactly. You can't do that with Shea because Shea's too big. Shea's long. You can't do
um,
that with Jalen. Jalen, another one. He's long. He's big. Chet. Depending on what type of center you have, if you have a bruising type Punisher type of center, then yeah, you could probably catch him. But he's also gonna catch you on the other end too. So that's a back and forth. But yeah, like overall, it's the defense that they have. The guys like even Case and Wallace who comes in and gets steals and is able to
mhm.
get deflections, is able to make some pretty good stops. He's another great, perimeter guard that can defend as well. So it's that's been my biggest thing. It's just the fact that everybody's bought in on defense, which is not an easy thing to do.
Not at all.
Which is
Defense is
which
all
is
about effort.
yeah, yeah, which is one of the hardest things to do, and everybody gives effort, and yeah, no, just the way that they were able to play, and um, Lou Dort always having a body on him, Alex Caruso always having a body on him, and then even when he did catch the ball, look at where he was catching the ball. He was catching the ball almost by half court. So now instead of you catching the ball at the 3-point line, you catching it at half court, making you work 10 times harder just to score 2 points. So then after that, as the game goes on, by the you know getting to that middle to the end to the third quarter, you're exhausted because you did so much trying to just score. Like in the first half, I think in game five in the first half, you only had like 8 points or something like that. Like you did a lot just to score 8 points
Hmm.
when we're so accustomed to seeing you score 30
Hmm.
and a breeze. So yeah, that's where I hang my hat with Oklahoma City. We know what they could do on offense. With Shea being able to get into the mid range, getting up towards pull up mid ranges, his step backs. Sometimes his step back threes. Also another thing
That,
that we don't talk
that
about.
chicken wing is nasty, dude.
Another thing that we don't talk about is his fadeaways. He was killing in game four. Oh my goodness, he was killing them with the fadeaways. And when you put somebody in the post, it's very hard to double team because as soon as he turns, somebody else is open. So yeah, man, I give it to that whole squad because, like you said, they're just full of dogs, and it's a bunch of boys that grew up and that are growing up to be men right in front of our eyes.
Right in front of our eyes. We're watching a flower flourish right now.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's beautiful.
it
It's
is.
it's it's simply beautiful to really see it go down in real time and not, rely on the highlights, not rely on, I'm watching this with my own eyes
Hmm.
and the progression from what I remember back then in watching those games to now.
Yeah.
I would have never expected OKC to be here
Hmm.
ever.
Not this, it's funny. Yeah, not to be in the NBA Finals, but also not to be this dominant.
And I, they're whooping every time they like. Okay, game. What was that? One, two, three, four. Game four, you won by two. Like that is that's your closest.
That was,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that was like what their closest game in the postseason so far.
That's the closest game. Everybody else, they're beating. They're by an average margin of at least like 10 to 20.
Yeah, yeah. I think their margin was like 13, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. They're
Yep.
that's huge, especially in the postseason.
And the thing is, what we're seeing is OKC's finishing games. I
Yeah.
think that's a big thing. With Indiana, we see them give up leads. With the Knicks, we've seen them give up leads
Hmm.
late in the fourth quarter crunch time. OKC, they don't have that problem,
Mm-mm.
and they're not going to have that problem.
Foot on their necks, man. And yeah, and it's funny because they are really, really good at capitalizing off of the other team's mistakes,
Hmm.
which is a worrisome for both, Indiana and New York, depending on whoever goes.
High
So
turnover teams, honestly.
yeah, yeah. But that's also because, well, especially for like Indiana, because they play a high pace. For the Knicks, I feel like for them for the most part, they just lose focus.
Sloppy
Yeah,
early,
yeah,
sloppy early, lose focus late, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, we'll actually get into them right now. Just to recap to how we got here. So we talked about game one last week, but game two, Siakam had a big night with 39 points, leading the Pacers to a 114-109 victory for the Pacers to lead 2-0. In game three, the Knicks stormed back from 20 down, able to win that one 106 to 100. Um, Carl went crazy in the fourth quarter. 20 points alone. He ended up with 24 points and 15 boards, hitting threes, getting to the basket, getting in ones. He was looking every bit of a New York Knick, I would say, in that moment. Game four, the Pacers were just able to outlast the Knicks 130 to 121. Tyrese Halliburton had, in my opinion, one of the most flawless games I think I've ever witnessed in my life. 32 points, 15 assists, 12 boards on zero turnovers. Like, and to play at that pace, to play at that high octane pace with no turnovers is very, very impressive. Bennett Mathurin is somebody who has been coming alive off the bench. He had 20 points off the bench for them. And then coming to game five, Knicks in a do or die game, wire to wire win, 111 to 94. Started off with Brunson just getting to it, making sure that he scores and that he was gonna be able to get his team involved later on, in which he did. So Brunson ended up with 32 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. Cat 24 points, 13 boards. Bennett Mathurin once again coming off the bench, 23 points and 9 boards, and then Howley, very pedestrian, only 8 points and 6 assists.
And he had what, 7 shots, something like that.
Yeah, something, yeah, like 5 or 6 or something like that. I forgot what it was.
I mean, this was a do or die game for the Knicks. We all knew that. If we owed the do or die.
Hmm.
Um, I don't want Indiana to do us how we did Boston. You know, how
Smack them around, getting back, go back
and
home
then
on
you,
game
you
six
just
or
wait
something.
to game six. You wait till you get back to the crib and you just whoop them, like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That'd be karma in a nutshell. But speaking of, I mean, I, the thing is like I don't have much to say about this game because I'm expecting the Knicks to win this game because that's just the position that they were put in. And but Brunson came out hot and they were put on the burner. They were put on pressure watch and they came up clutch. Even Cat, 2 games ago,
Yeah, game three.
game three, big in the fourth quarter, super, super big in the fourth quarter with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson got to watch his fouls, man.
Yeah,
He got
yeah. He does a lot of yeah, I would say it. He just does a lot of stupid stuff.
it really is stupid. I don't like sometimes the effort that he gives on the defensive end. To me, it just feels lackluster.
Yes, lazy.
Very, very, very. It's almost like what we used to like complain with LeBron about like back in the day, like back in the day, would be like, yo,
Yeah.
he taking possessions
Taking,
off,
yeah,
man. You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But he's taking possessions off because he knows he's going to be needed 7 minutes to go, 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Where he's going to drop what to 13, anywhere from 13 to 20 points in an 8 minute span.
Right, right.
But I think in order to win this game six, they gotta watch. Jalen Brunson has to watch his fouls, and so does Karl Anthony Towns.
Mm-hmm.
Can't I just think you can't rely too much on Mitchell Robinson in a game like this.
Yeah. But
Cat has to be available.
yes, yes, especially with the fact that, like you said, this is another do or die game. It's a game where you need to drop buckets because you need to keep up with the Pacers, especially them being at home.
And it's also too like the way Cat was able to go off for 20 points in the fourth quarter, brother. I need this all game. I need it. I like with the con I need it. I need a steady. Just I need. I don't. It makes me upset. It really does. It makes me upset
Yeah.
because it's like he'll have 3 points, 4 points going into the fourth quarter. It's like, bro, like we probably wouldn't be in this position if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you would have just did a lot more in the first couple, in the first, and I'm gonna be honest, in like the first quarter, that's when you have to do it. You have to punch
Establish
in
your
the first quarter.
dominance in the first quarter.
Yes, you have to punch in the first quarter. You have to, and I think sometimes that's what they didn't do for most of this series. They didn't really do that. They didn't punch first. They didn't, they sat back and they just got back on their heels very early, and then that's what allowed Indiana to play free flowing for the most
Mhm.
part, and that's what allowed them to be relaxed and let their pace dictate the game. And what you can't let the all pun intended the pacers dictate the game. You
And they pretty much have been outside of this last game, honestly.
yeah.
This was the first game in the entire series that I felt the Knicks had complete dominance over.
Hmm. Where they just had
Complete
complete control.
dominance.
Yeah.
From first quarter, from opening bell to closing bell,
Yep.
they had control. I haven't seen that genuinely all postseason,
Mm-mm.
where you got control from opening tip to the last bell.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's been a lot of barn burners. It's been a lot of gutted out wins.
Right.
That only gets you so far sometimes.
Yeah.
And don't let Hallie come back and hit another, boom, boom, boom shot, man, in game six. I'll cry. I'll go cry.
I don't see that.
I'll go
I,
cry.
I just don't want them to get smacked. That's what it is. I just don't want them to get smacked.
I don't think they will. I I I refuse. I refuse to see it like that. I refuse.
I think as long as Tibbs keeps using his bench, because he got
Out of
productive
Deuce.
minutes. Yep, he got productive minutes out of Deuce, out of Delon Wright, Landry Shamet. He got productive minutes out of a lot of these guys, and as long as he keeps, because and this is something I was trying to tell my boy when, because he was talking about the Indiana Pacers, how they could score off the bench and things of that nature, which they can. They're amazing. Because they have Bennett Mathurin, who, in my opinion, you put him on almost a lot of these other teams, he more than likely starts.
Starting, absolutely.
But the thing is, with bench players, when these guys come off the bench, you just want them to come in and give good minutes. They don't have to necessarily score all the time. We just want you to come in, and we just want you to maintain the pace that the starters have maintained already. And that's what, going back to Oklahoma City, that's what Oklahoma City's really good at. Those bench guys coming in, the Wiggins, the Wallaces, the Alex
There's no fall off.
Carusos, they don't fall off exactly. They see the energy and the pace that the Thunder already started off with, and they keep that. If Tibbs keeps using his bench and those bench players can understand that, the Shamits and all of them, they can understand that and they can keep doing that. Then after that, you could really give the Indiana a run because now they understand, oh, they could do the same thing that we can do. So now we're really in a fight now. So that's what it really is. As long as Tibbs just keeps trusting all of his guys, just trust them. They're gonna make it happen for you. Just trust them. Keep giving Brunson his minutes off. Get Cat some of his minutes off. I love the way that he's able to switch him and Mitchell Robinson on and off now. That right
Yo,
there.
Mitchell Robinson right now, dude.
He's a. I was saying this in what game was it? I think I was saying this in like game one. I was like, bro, no one wants to see you. No one wants to see you. Like, think about that. Like really, really think about that. Nobody wants to see you. You are so high octane on those boards right now. No one wants to see you because that is so demoralizing. No matter what happens, you keep getting in good position to get a board.
And it's
So
not
what
even just him. You got Josh Hart too.
you have Josh Hart that comes in and crashes the board too. So then think about it for like a Miles Turner, a Pascal Siakam, a Tony Bradley, a Thomas Bryant. That's a lot to work with for only just one to like two people. And one of them is undersized.
Yeah.
That's a lot to work with. So it, if like I said, if Tibbs just keeps trusting his guys and they keep doing what they're doing, then game six can be a close one and it could be one in the Knicks' favor if they could, shift the momentum that way. Then speaking of game six, before I hand it back to you, ever since the Pacers won game four, all the pressure, in my opinion, has always been on the Pacers now. Because now the Pacers have to actually close. This isn't no more of a, oh yeah, we'll be back in the next couple of days. No. Now you have to actually close this team out. Because just like you guys on that other side, if they get a sliver of hope and they don't care. They get active when they 20 down, 25 down. They don't care.
With 5 minutes to go.
With 5 minutes to go, they do not care. You have to finish this team, man. They have exactly what New York grit is. When they come back from 20 down, which I hate that they do, but they do it flawlessly. They show New York grit.
And I mean, man, as long as OG's hitting his shots, Josh Hart is hitting his shots, Mikal Bridges is hitting his shots, Mitchell Robinson's, and Cat and Josh Hart getting rebounding,
Hmm.
and the bench is, putting in impactful minutes. Then the Knicks can come back. They easily, very easily can.
Yeah, yeah. Just gotta just
It depends. You gotta execute.
yeah, yeah. You gotta execute. Yeah, I go back to when the Pacers were playing the Cavs. I think it was game three. How the Cavs were able to, they punched first.
Hmm.
When they were able to punch first, Indiana was scrambling. And obviously we've seen them come back, but they were scrambling trying to get back into that game in which they couldn't.
Hmm.
Because once Cleveland started punching, they kept punching. They didn't stop. They didn't take a quarter off or like, for a boxing term, a round off or anything like that. So that's all the Knicks have to do. They just have to stay on the attack. They just have to remember their fundamentals
And limit your turnovers.
and limit your turnovers. Yes, limit the turnovers. And then when Indiana gets on a run, call the timeout because obviously basketball's a game of run. Call the timeout. Tell everybody, we've been here
Take a
before. It's gonna
breather.
be all right. It's gonna be all
Breathe.
right. Just take your time and run through your stuff. Also, another thing, stop letting Jalen Brunson have the ball for 18 to 20 seconds. It's not good. It's not feasible. Stop. Everybody, get a touch if you can. And then if we need Jalen Brunson to bail us out, then we'll give it to Jalen Brunson. But don't just have him sit there and backing down Andrew Nimhart, because all the Pacers are gonna do is gonna take the ball right from underneath the basket and then run right down your backs.
Hmm. 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 That's what they're looking to do.
Exactly.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I second everything that you were just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So game six Saturday night, 8 o'clock. Be there, be square. New York, baby, New York.
Bring them blue skies, baby. Come on now. Come on now. When we come back, we're gonna say the Knicks won.
Well,
Yes, sir.
sweet. When we come back, we'll be recording after game one of the NBA Finals.
Facts.
So
Facts. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. Exciting times, man. Exciting
Yes, sir.
times.
Yes, sir. I can't wait.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I think either way, we were talking about this off camera. Either way, whichever one we get, whether it's New York or it's Indiana, we're gonna get a good series going into the next one.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
But
agree.
yeah. But that's our episode for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Um and yeah, like we said, we'll be back next week to talk about wrap up the Eastern Conference Finals and then get into the NBA Finals.
Can't wait.
Yes, sir. But till then, I'm your host Cam Silver,
I'm your co-host, Kyle. Over.
and this is the Silver Boys.
Thank you. Thank you.